About half a year ago, I made a video on some of the best supercars that players can buy in GTA 5 Online, and today on the show, we're back again with the next installment of my top 10 and top 10 video series, and with this video, we have the top 5 best sports cars in GTA Online. When it comes to each of these 5 vehicles that are included in today's list, we're going to be looking at their top speed, handling, acceleration, braking, overall design, as well as amount of customization options, and you can be sure that you get a full and totally comprehensive review of each car, so hopefully it can help you make a decision on which sports car you'd like to collect next in GTA 5 Online. Just like the Supers class, we have some amazing selections here today, so let's get started. Starting off very strong with the only sports sedan on this list today, we have the Ocelot Jugular, and this car will cost you $1,225,000 from Legendary Motorsport, and it is a 4-door vehicle, and that's awesome to have because you can transport a bunch of your friends around in this car, but that's not really why it's in the top 5. That's just a neat little feature to have when it comes to a car in GTA Online. The Jugular's performance boils down to 2 main factors here. It has incredible acceleration and superb handling thanks to it being all-wheel drive, and that goes for handling on the street, off-road, up and down hills, around sharp corners, you name it. You can completely trust the Jugular because it's going to be able to tackle it all, and that's what I love most about it. It's just a no-nonsense sports car in this game. Is it absolute meta for anything in particular? No, not really. In fact, some players I would imagine would just regard the Jugular's overall performance being simply average here, with the redeeming quality being the car's strong traction, but I want to go a little bit against the grain here and say everything else besides handling is also pretty great too. The Jugular has a respectable top speed of 125 miles an hour, which definitely falls in line for a top speed that you would expect a sports car in this game to have, and the braking capabilities are also fantastic as well. Maybe not as good as the Lampadati Corsita, but maybe more in line with cars like the Jackal as well as the Kuruma. It does feature one advanced handling flag in the game files, but don't worry here because it does appear to have minimal impact on the car's overall performance. That's something Bruffy1322 mentioned when doing all of his tests for this vehicle as well. Customization wise, you do get a solid amount of options. This car looks great if it's absolutely bone stock, or even if you go all over the top with the most expensive customization options, you're going to make this car look pretty good, and no matter how you personalize your Jugular, there is zero doubt in my mind that it's going to look really sleek, sporty, and that's mainly just because of the fact that you have that menacing front grille. There's the sharp and more narrow headlights on this car, and also just in general you get more of a squatted, low aerodynamic profile with the Jugular. Considering it is based on the Jaguar XESV Project 8, Rockstar did a really great job here because in the game you get all of those same luxurious sports sedan aesthetics. Before we move on to number 4, if you've been enjoying the video so far or if you just found it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it, and if you want to stay up to date with everything GTA Online, whether it's news, tips, tricks, updates, top 5s, top 10s, or even live gameplays and live streams, then please consider hitting that subscribe button with your bell notifications turned on so you can stay up to date with all of my future uploads. So now for number 4, we have the Ocelot Pariah, and this is a very infamous vehicle here in GTA Online. If that means it's a bit overrated to you as well, then I'm probably inclined to agree with you on that. It is a great car, no doubt. You can buy one for $1,420,000 from Legendary Motorsport, and this is going to be a sports car that stands out most in top speed, but it also has really impressive acceleration and also extremely good handling, despite it being a vehicle that maybe doesn't look like it would be able to take sharp corners too great. Besides the Weevil Custom, which just edges it out by 1 mile an hour in terms of top speed, the Pariah is the fastest non-HSW car in GTA Online with a top speed of 136 miles an hour, meaning it's faster in a straight line than all of your other favorite supercars and favorite sports cars. Does that translate to the quickest vehicle in lap time just because of its top speed? No. But it is also very high up there on the list of fastest accelerating cars as well, and again, not the best handling car I've seen in a sports car, but it's far from bad. You just need to watch for some wheel spin, I think, from a dig, or even pulling out of a turn, because this car does put out some immense power, and way more than a typical sports car you'll drive in this game. There's also a little bit of traction loss you may find when driving the Pariah just because of the bumps on the street. Those seem to upset this vehicle more than other cars, and there's also a little bit of body roll that you'll see. Nothing crazy, but I have flipped this car once or twice in this game, so just something to keep in mind. The customization options are extensive enough, nothing's really that transformational, but I would say that just because since it is a well-regarded vehicle, and especially for such a long time, I think it goes without saying here that it does deserve a spot on today's list. But now moving on to number 3, we have the Obey 10F, and this is a vehicle that we actually talked about in my top 5 best Benny's vehicles video from last week, which y'all seem to greatly enjoy, so thank you to those who watched that one. If you haven't and you want to go see it, I'll leave it in my description box down below, and I'll also link it in the top right hand corner corner of this screen, but since we already talked about it, and pretty recently as well, I'll try to keep this one review a bit more brief so we can keep it moving here. The Obey 10F is available from Legendary Motorsports for $1,675,000, and it's the only car from today's list that you can apply Benny's conversion kits and upgrades to, so automatically this car is basically a 2-for-1 because the stock 10F, it looks amazing, but with Benny's you can apply a sick wide body kit, carbon fiber parts, some of the more unique liveries in the game, and you get access to lots of various spoiler options. Both the standard and the wide body 10Fs have excellent acceleration, a high top speed of 126 miles an hour or 128 if you have the Benny's version, and it's also probably the most realistic looking car on today's list as well. Rockstar smashed it out of the park in terms of vehicle modeling and design. It's of course based off that latest generation Audi R8, but for some reason Rockstar made the Obey 10F in GTA Online rear-wheel drive when the Audi R8 is all-wheel drive IRL. It does come in rear-wheel drive as well, I'm pretty sure, with like a special order, but I feel like for the sake of this video game, it would greatly benefit from being all-wheel drive. It is super responsive, and at the appropriate speed, there's no problem with handling, but if you push it to the absolute max, I feel like it'll slip out on you a little bit. At the end of the day, since it is rear-wheel drive in this game, I just feel like there was ever so slightly better performance that we could have seen with this car if it was all-wheel drive. I don't want to harp on it too much. This car is fantastic, and I mean, hey, it did make the top 5 today, but it just could be ever so slightly better in its own regard, in my opinion, if Rockstar made that change. Now moving on to number 2, we have the Grotti Italy RSX, retailing for $3,465,000. This is the priciest sports car on today's list, and also one of the more pricey cars in the game in general, which is why despite me actually really liking this car a little bit more than the last sports car that we're going to be talking about in this video, I do think the high price tag alone really makes it deserving of the number 2 spot on this list. The Italy RSX is exceptionally fast and agile. It's very ideal, I would say, for competitive racing because it has a top speed of 134.5 miles an hour, which is definitely a speed that challenges the absolute best sports cars and even supercar class vehicles and even exceeds them in most cases. The acceleration of the RSX also makes it one of the quickest sports cars today from a dig, and it is all-wheel drive just like the real-life counterpart it's based on, which is the Ferrari SF90, and at least with the rear of the car you also get a few hints from the Ferrari F8 Tributo as well, so that's pretty cool. You can get an absolute boatload of customization options with this car as well, including both front and rear bumpers, hoods, tons of exhaust mods, and also an active spoiler with 20 other spoiler options from the LS Custom Shop, which is awesome. But the big downside here with all the spoilers is that they have absolutely zero effect on the car's downforce, which does become a major problem at speed. This car is absolutely amazing, I love it, but it does suffer from traction issues because there's just not enough downforce for this car to grip the road properly, and that's truly the only negative thing I have to say about this car. But at the same time, I would argue that handling is a big deal for vehicles in GTA Online, and because the RSX is sort of lacking there despite being all-wheel drive and having basically limitless amounts of spoiler options, I just can't make it the number 1 spot on today's list despite me really wanting to, and also because I really like driving this car. But finally, we do have the number 1 vehicle and the number 1 sports car in GTA Online, the Grotti Italy GTO. It's available for $1,965,000 from Legendary Motorsport, and I do think it's deserving of the number 1 spot on today's list. It's also a sports car that's inspired by the Ferrari 812 Superfast, so you know off the bat it's going to be an exceptional car to own in GTA Online. It's most known for its amazing acceleration and impressive top speed of 128 miles an hour when you fully upgrade this car. This vehicle also has dynamic performance that's complemented by the fact it is all-wheel drive as well, so rest assured you're going to get very good traction and handling when driving. But funny enough, this actually used to not be the case because initially when this car released it had major issues with handling, oversteer, and general instability over bumps and turns, but now post the Diamond Casino and Resort update, all of those handling issues with this car have been fixed, so nowadays it's much more controllable on the street and also in competitive races, way more than it once was. You can also enhance the Italy GTO even further with various exhaust options and hood modifications, and the sheer amount of customization even extends to the outer aesthetics with numerous livery options too. So this is a car that definitely will allow for a highly personalized look if you like to spend the time and money customizing your car exactly to your liking. But with all that out of the way, that's going to wrap up my video on the top 5 best sports cars you can buy right now in GTA Online. Whether you like that versatile Ocelot Jugular with it being all-wheel drive and having good handling, or even if you just want to grab the ultimate car on today's list, the Grotti Italy GTO, each car today I think brings its own flavor of speed, design and customization to the game, and each has a place in any player's garage in my opinion. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video here today, and if you did, hopefully I earned your like on it. And of course, if you are new to my channel and you want to stay up to date with all the best GTA Online, Red Dead Online, and Rockstar Games content, then please consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single thing we post here on the channel. We consistently talk about updates, news, information, tips, tricks, and even leaks, and we'll keep you guys updated here on the channel daily, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected with me outside of YouTube, and you're more than welcome to ask me any questions on those platforms. You can follow me at HazardousHDTV, and all of my social media links can be found in the description down below. Again, with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in the next GTA 5 Online video. Adios, amigos.